Car chases are dangerous and unpredictable. Viewer discretion advised.
Breaking news here on KCAL 9 News at 8 o'clock. You're watching a pursuit that's happening in Burbank.
Stu Mundell is in Sky 9 overhead. Stu, what do you got?
Well, this actually started in the Burbank area, that's for sure. We watched this guy as he came off of the surface streets in the Burbank area and got on the 5 freeway northbound. Now you can see that car right there. This is the one in the center of the screen. That's the guy that they're chasing. Burbank PD initialized this pursuit because they believe that this person was under the influence. Because of his hazardous driving on the roadway, the ground units have dropped back. So they're almost about a half a mile behind him at this time on the 5 freeway. Now this is Burbank PD that's chasing him at this time. The helicopter, though, has been following this guy, and they've been following him very closely. Now, we've worked our way northbound 5. We're coming up on the 170 interchange on the northbound 5 freeway. You can see that heavy traffic there, and the suspect trying to blend into traffic right now, even though he has been at sometimes reaching speeds of over 90 miles an hour to get to this point. Now, the Burbank PD has made a call to the CHP. It's unclear right now if the CHP has any units in the area, but we do know that the Burbank police that has been following him is getting a little bit closer because the airship, the Burbank helicopter, has been telling them that there is a lot of traffic. So we're going to keep an eye on this and see where he goes right now. Again, this is a suspect. He's wanted for DUI, and this started in the Burbank area. Burbank PD is the one that's been following him. Looks like he's going to be getting off the freeway here. Let me get you an off ramp in just a second, but they are definitely behind him, and they're coming up as quickly as possible, as I understand it. And this, I think, is going to be the Osborne off-ramp if he takes it. It looks like he was going to take it now. It looks like he's trying to move his way back into traffic.
Stu, we're getting word that originally this was called in by an off-duty police officer who had spotted him driving erratically. You had mentioned that this is possibly a DUI, not a DUI, but perhaps he's driving under the influence. What more information do you know about that?
Well, we just got that basic information. We heard originally he was on the Buena Vista, on Buena Vista, and at some points he was actually driving on the wrong side of the road. As soon as the officers got behind him and turned on their lights, those were the black and whites, probably not the vehicle that the off-duty officer was driving. He immediately sped away. There was never even he didn't slow down, nothing. He just hit the gas and went. And like I said, at times on the ground, he was taking very dangerous maneuvers, driving on the wrong side of the road many times, and also also we understand. Up there they go. There is the Burbank PD. They've caught back up to this guy, and again, originally they wanted to fall back because of his erratic driving, because of the traffic. Now they're able to get a lot closer. We know that the Burbank airship is still overhead. They're the ones basically calling the pursuit, and you can see at least one unit there. I'm sure there's going to be more in trail, but one of the Burbank units now behind that vehicle once again. Their lights and sirens on, and this guy still refusing to stop. We're well outside the Burbank area right now. We're into probably the Sylmar-Pacoima area as we work our way northbound 5. As I understand it, we're well past the 170. We have a little bit of we had a little bit of traffic there. Traffic seems to be opening up, so we're going to see if this guy picks up his speeds again. Hopefully he won't. Maybe he'll come to his senses and just pull over. But at this time, Burbank PD still following and quote-unquote chasing this guy out of the Burbank area, northbound 5, and we're definitely into the Sylmar area, Pacoima area right now.
And Stu, about what speed is he moving at now? He's obviously passing traffic, but not flying by him, but he's obviously going at a higher rate of speed than most of the traffic around him there on the 5 North.
Well, he has slowed down quite a bit, maybe got a little bit of his sense back. When we first saw him, he was moving so quickly, he actually cut off a motorcycle at one point. Speeds at that point were in excess of 80 miles an hour, and that was per the Burbank police. Now we understand that we're coming still northbound 5. We're coming up on the 118 already, and again, you can see, like you said, he is moving much faster than the traffic around him. Maybe people are slowing down because they're hearing the lights and sirens from that Burbank police car, or maybe he is really just moving that fast. As soon as I can get some sort of clocking so I can get you a better speed, or an idea of how fast he's going, we'll definitely let you know. But right now, taking the 118, we're going to see if he's going to be going east or west on the 118. It definitely confirmed to the westbound 118, and again, we're trying to look in there, see what we can see about this guy. We know it's, we understand at least that it's a male, and that's the only person inside that vehicle.
Is that a Mercedes? Is that a black Mercedes-Benz, Stu? Can you tell from where you are?
We, you know, again, I haven't heard that officially, but my guess, Rob, is that it is definitely a newer Mercedes-Benz, possibly an E-Class.
Yeah.
But you can, it almost appears it's a little grainy, it's a little dark, but it looks like somebody is in there, possibly on the phone. Don't know who he's talking to. Sometimes we get information through the PD that this guy will call the 911 operator, you know, but this time we're not hearing any of that right now. The single unit from the Burbank PD that has been following behind this person still there. I'm going to go a little bit wider just for a second. We won't lose that car, but I just want to make sure that I just want to see if there's others in the area. Yeah. We know that CHP has been notified, and they've been talking with Burbank police, and possibly they're going to position their vehicles or try to take over this pursuit from Burbank. Right now, it has not yet happened, but we're definitely westbound 118, working our way over to the 405 right now. So we are in the valley at this point.
All right, in case you're just joining us, you are watching a pursuit that's happening right now in the Sylmar area along the westbound 118 freeway. Burbank police are in pursuit of a man they think might be under the influence of something, and he's been driving erratically, driving at very high rate of speeds. And now he is, as I mentioned, on the 118 westbound. They believe that he is the only person in the car. We have not been able to confirm that, but that's what we're hearing. We're getting the reports from police and from Stu Mundell in Sky 9.
And his speeds, this chase started off moving much faster than it appears to be at this point. It does appear, as Stu was telling us, that the speed has slowed down to a more reasonable speed, although it's hard to tell. Right now you can see him, he's moving past traffic, but again, we don't know if the traffic is slowing down because there might be a number of police cars coming up, or if he, yeah, he doesn't seem to be moving too fast at this point. He seems to be going about the typical rate of speed for the westbound 118, which is where he is now in Granada Hills. We
initially saw one Burbank police unit chasing him. Now it looks like there are a few more, perhaps even one other one. And as Stu Mundell just mentioned, oh, there we go, a number of police units in pursuit of this driver. Stu Mundell mentioned that at some point CHP is going to take over. Stu, have you heard anything more about that?
No, we actually haven't heard much about the CHP. I heard the word tossed around on the radios. They definitely have gotten a hold of him, letting him know that they are following and chasing somebody on their freeways. Again, we're coming up on into the Granada Hills area now off the 118. This started in Burbank, and again, like we've been observing from the helicopter, and both Rob and Sharon have said, the speeds have seemed to normal out. Maybe he's going about 70. You can see there's other traffic. They seem to catch up to it. Sometimes they, like we just saw, that vehicle came into the screen and is actually going away from it. So his speeds have slowed dramatically. I can assure you that even though his speeds have come down and maybe he's driving a little bit more normal as it would be, these officers not going to back off. They're not going to say, oh, hey, he's okay now. Right. We're just going to stop. They want to talk to this guy. They want to stop this guy, and they want to find out what's going on here. Again, you know, this started out as, like you said, a call from an officer. It looks like he's digging around in the car now, moving around a little bit, grabs something from the back. Again, it looks like he has something in his hand, possibly a cell phone. But, you know, this started from a phone call from an off-duty officer. Again, we're not sure if that was a Burbank off-duty officer, LAPD, sheriffs, could be any number of agencies, but that's how this all started. And again, this possibly was because of erratic driving. And once one of the black and white units from Burbank got behind him, he totally refused to stop. He actually took off and did some crazy maneuvers in the Burbank area, endangering lives, endangering his own life for that matter, and then made his way onto the 5 freeway where we see where it started. It continued on the 5, got onto the 118, and now we're working our way out of the Granada Hills area. And like you said, speeds have definitely slowed down here. I can tell you we're actually slowing our own speeds just to track this guy. So he's probably going about 50, 55 miles an hour right now. But but the Burbank PD is still definitely behind him and definitely not going to let him go. I just heard that CHP is probably coming up or is in the area right now, so they might be taking this over. We're going to take a look and see. But again, just still moving along the 118 freeway. They're blocking traffic in Burbank, still in pursuit of a suspected DUI driver.
Gosh, it's really hard to say what he's thinking at this point. Probably, you know, desperate people do desperate things, so hopefully everything ends safely, and hopefully he stops soon, but hard to tell. He could wait until he runs out of gas or decide to just pull off.
You never know. Yeah, and as they widen out, you can see there's about 5 Burbank police officers behind him and nothing but open road in front of him. And Stu, it appears to me that, well, now he's changing lanes, but he was keeping it between the lines pretty well there for the last few minutes of that chase. After all those, reports of erratic driving, it seems that if he is intoxicated, he's doing a pretty good job of keeping it straight at this point.
Well, that's for sure, you know, but always we know that it's reaction time that really is what it's all about when they're dealing with DUI and people that are impaired. So, you know, driving in that straight line, you know, that might be the easier of the things to do. It's that when you start getting confronted with decision making, that's when he'll start lacking, and that's, you know, that's where the dangers come in with the driving under any kind of influence. So again, we're working our way down the, coming up on on Tampa, as I understand it, still on the 118 freeway. It seems to be one person inside this vehicle. Burbank PD still pursuing this guy. CHP has been in contact with these officers, and as I understand it, there might be one unit in the area, and they are talking with them. They're unclear if they're going to take over the pursuit. Again, he has slowed down quite a bit. The Burbank officers, that's one of the reasons why they have so many there. There's obviously 2 of them are going to be dedicated to making the stop and taking that person into custody. The other ones are there to basically keep the traffic from coming up behind them if and when this vehicle does come to a stop. Also, we haven't heard any of the pursuit intervention tactics being mentioned, i.e. Or an example of the spike strips possibly pitting this vehicle or anything like that. They're going to just keep following him at this point. It's probably to keep the danger and to property and life at a minimum. And again, we see this guy slowing down at this point, unsure what his plans are. Hopefully he's just going to pull over. Maybe he's going home. Sometimes they'll run the plate. They'll figure out where he lives. They'll have an officer waiting at the home. In this case, we haven't heard that scenario play out. Again, the officers are still in trail. They do have a helicopter overhead that's calling the pursuit, and also CHP hopefully and maybe will be joining this pursuit here shortly. Well, and you know, go ahead, Rob.
Stu, we just got word now that Burbank Police has granted CHP permission to take over, so we should see that transition here shortly. As you said, they were probably coming up behind. It appears that that has now occurred, so we'll see maybe a switch between Burbank Police to CHP as this thing continues to move west into the valley.
Stu, at what options does this driver have at this time with regards to an interchange coming up? He's on the 118 in Porter Ranch, still on westbound. What perhaps other freeway could he possibly get onto?
Well, at this time, the 118 is very much a very long stretch until it turns into the 23 out there, well out there into the Moore Park area. So he doesn't have much of a decision-making process as far as freeways goes. We're going to be getting into the Simi Valley area here shortly, but he has plenty of off-ramps. And as far as options goes, you know, he has one really good option, and that is just to pull over to the side of the road and follow the officer's instructions and give himself up. But it doesn't seem like that's on his list or anywhere at the top 5 of his list. Right now, still just driving. As we've noticed, his speeds have slowed down. We're on the 118. We're starting to come up onto the Santa Susana Pass, So that tells me that we are in the Chatsworth area. If we haven't passed it yet, it's going to be Topanga is going to be the next off-ramp he has before we get into the Ventura area. I'm going to go a little bit wider. There's the CHP unit. Maybe that's the one that they've been talking about. We're just passing the Topanga on-ramp right there. Again, a number of officers, I count 5 Burbank PD and 2 CHP involved in this. Now, if Burbank does hand over, and they have to do this almost litigiously, hand this pursuit over to the CHP. CHP has different tactics. They might decide to pit him, especially with the freeway being open like this. They might bring this pursuit to an end. Burbank, they have different policies. They're right now they're just in a track or a following mode, as they're calling it. But definitely, you can see lights and sirens, and they are keeping a close eye on this guy, even though his speeds are slowing and slowing and slowing. This is a grade. We are coming up into the hills here, but I'm sure that that car would have no problems keeping up the speeds. CHP, I understand now, is going to be taking the lead, and there you go. You see those cars coming up, and they're going to be taking the lead right now. Obviously, this guy, he probably has no idea the difference between the vehicles. All he sees are those red flashing lights in his rearview mirrors. So, you know, he is probably just going to keep doing what he's doing. But CHP might have a different take on this, and they might do something a little bit more aggressive to bring this to a halt before it starts affecting the public.
And if you're just now joining us, this is a police pursuit on the westbound 118 in Chatsworth heading towards Simi Valley. We picked this up about 15 minutes ago in Burbank on the 5 northbound. This appears to be a newer modeled black Mercedes-Benz. It appears to be an E-Class from what we can gather. Burbank police behind them for about the last 13 or 14 minutes. CHP just now taking over. If you look into that window, you can see what we believe is a man by himself in that car, possibly on the phone, was spotted driving erratically by an off-duty police officer, and that's when the pursuit began. He obviously didn't stop, and it's been going now for at least the past 15 minutes, and now we're heading into, how close are we getting to Simi Valley, Stu?
Well, we're still making our way up the grade, and you can see that Mercedes really picking up speed here.
Flying.
He's hitting the brakes, actually. Looks like he's coming off the freeway. There's going to be a sharp turn up there.
Oh, my God.
And we're going to keep it a little bit wider, but he is slowing down there, taking a hard turn. Hard turn. We're at Rocky Peak. I'm not sure if he's going to just try to get back onto the freeway. That's what they do sometimes, and that's what he's choosing to do. He's just turning around. He's going to be going eastbound on the 118 freeway, but you can see there his speeds and his attitude have really changed up a little bit here as we as he saw those other officers and he started making a decision what he was going to do. You can see right there that's a night sun that's provided by one of the helicopters overhead, one of the PD helicopters, probably the Burbank PD as I'm looking out the window. But again, you can see how he's just moving out. He's putting some space between him and those officers, but he's not going to get away from that airship. And those officers are going to make that same turn, and they are going to catch up to him very shortly.
He is flying up the freeway right now.
Yeah, he was moving pretty good when he made the flip around, and now is he moving about how fast do you think he's going now, Stu? Is there any way to tell?
Well, we haven't heard the official, but I would put him probably about 70, 80. But again, he seems to be slowing up again for some reason, maybe even taunting the officers in a way. But you can see these guys, the average traffic probably going about 65, so he's passing them pretty quickly, probably keeping about 70, 75 miles an hour as he's working his way now eastbound along the 118 freeway. We got a CHP vehicle coming up behind him extremely fast. You know, there's that old adage, you can outrun that one cruiser, but you can't outrun the radio, and that's basically what CHP's been doing here. They called to another unit that was on the eastbound 118, and now that guy is making his way a little bit closer. Looks like he's changing some lanes here. Oh, no, okay. I thought maybe he was going to take an off-ramp. He's pretty much established in the middle of the road, in the middle of the freeway, and I'm looking out the window. I want to show you that CHP making that effort. They are coming up behind him very quickly. There's also a motorcycle. And now that black and white helicopter, the one that has been providing the light, that is LAPD. So we got multiple agencies chasing this guy right now, and they're going to make him stop. Sooner or later, he's either going to give up or they're going to bring this to an end. And CHP now you can see in the lead. Go ahead, Sharon.
So as they close in on him, how would they stop him?
Well, they you know, at those high speeds with all these other vehicles in the way, the pit maneuver is probably not going to be on their list of things that they're going to be able to do, just because of the high speeds, and then of course the other vehicles. And you know, they don't want to get any kind of civilians injured, and then obviously they don't want to injure the guy that they're chasing. So they're going to keep that lesser on the table, but they could do other things. They could call ahead. They could put the spike strips out if this continues on. But right now, the best thing they can do is they're just going to follow him. They're going to keep a distance, but they're going to let him know that he is being followed, and hopefully he will come to a conclusion on his own and just pull over. But again, we are westbound 118 back into the Mission Park area, Porter Ranch area, and working our way westbound on the 118, basically going back to where we started.
And where we started was Burbank.
Yeah,
this is where the chase
and we're
began.
eastbound. We're eastbound now on the 118, and we just got a report, Stu, that the CHP is saying at one point he was over 100 miles an hour moving along. It seems like he has subsided from that now, but he has a very fast car, and it's obvious that he's not afraid to use it. But I think when that spotlight hit him, it was pretty obvious that he, like you said, he can't escape. He can't escape the bird. He can get away from the cruisers for a minute, but you can't outrun a helicopter.
Exactly. At this point,
Well,
he
that's
looks
right.
like,
And here, this is the stuff we were talking about earlier. He makes these erratic moves, these quick lane changes. You know, he's thinking he's going to get some separation between him and those cars. He probably will for a moment or two. But the CHP, you know, they are trained for this. All those officers, they have pursuit training. They have intense training where they learn to drive at high speeds in conditions, meaning rain or water, and also in traffic. So they at least have a little bit of training. This guy, you know, very doubtful that he has any kind of training driving at extremely fast speeds. And then on top of it, you throw in there that possibly this guy is a DUI suspect. You know, CHP, you know, all the units are behind him right now. They're going to want to keep the public safe. They don't want to push him, but they want to stop him.
He is flying right now.
And it looks like he's running into some traffic again as he heads eastbound on the 118.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, definitely, and it looks like is he
trying to
taking it off
exit,
for him? No. He is really picking up speed now. Now again, this is probably one of those times where he's going in excess of 100 miles an hour. He is in the slow lane now, cutting all the way back across. And again, you can see him flying by these other cars. We're going along the 118, and again, just making these crazy moves on here. Again, you know. It is a very powerful car, if it is what we believe it is. And again, you know, but there's still, he's putting other people's lives in danger and, you know, making these crazy moves. I'm trying to look ahead of the, see what the traffic's like. It seems to be about the same the entire way. Weaving in and out of these. See, look at that SUV swerving right there.
Wow.
And, you know, this is, you know, he didn't even make contact with that guy. Could you imagine if he tapped that guy? This is what is the problem. Now he's kind of boxed in. And again, just making these crazy moves, trying to get away from the PD. He should just pull over. Again, you know, he's just making these crazy moves. Here he goes again, picking up that speed. He's actually moving away from us here in Sky 9.
Will this force the CHP to maybe back off a little bit? He's making these dangerous moves. He's putting innocent people at risk. Will they back off because of this? Because for a minute there, they were really on his tail, Stu.
Well, you see, that's the big issues out here. You know, these guys, these poor officers, and not poor officers, but these trained guys, you know, they have to make these decisions. And you know, whatever their decision is, you know, they hope for the best. But, you know, are they too close? Are they too far? Is this guy mentally distressed here? He comes between two other cars. You know, it's just... You know, this is what the job of law enforcement entails. And again, with people like this who are irrational, you can never make a rational decision expecting a perfect outcome. And again, this guy is just moving now along the 118. We're almost back. We're back at the 405 already. His speed's well into the 100, over 100 miles an hour, and just coming up on these people and cutting in and out of traffic.
Oh my
It
God.
looks like he's going to be setting up for the 5. We know that that's a big sweeping turn. Hopefully he's going to be using the brakes. Hopefully there's nobody in the way. But again, look at these speeds. This guy is just going.
Reports of 120 miles an hour. Reports from the CHP that he was moving at one point at 120 miles an hour. I don't know if that's right now. He is flying, though.
I just going a little bit wider here just to see where the last cop car is. They are in the fast lane. Here he goes. He's transitioning onto the 5. There's a big sweeping turn here. You can see those brake lights, so he is slowing down, but there is traffic in the way, and he's going to have to slow down here. And, you know, hopefully he doesn't push anybody out of the way. He's coming across that. This is the 5 transition. We're transitioning from the eastbound 118 to the southbound 5 freeway right here. And again, that light provided by LAPD. And again, we're working our way back onto the 5 freeway, southbound 5 185, which is oddly enough a little bit light, at least up to the 118. So he has a little bit of time here. But again, you know, that time we talk about, this is just more time that the public is in danger. CHP, LAPD, and the Burbank police all involved in this right now. They all have their fingers in this, and they want this guy to stop. But again, you know, they can't, like you said, they got to play it safe. But he's not playing it safe, so the rules are pretty much out the window right now.
Stu, we have CHP Officer Saul Gomez on the phone with us. Hello, Officer Gomez. What can you tell us?
Good afternoon, or good evening, rather. Obviously, you can see the situation is getting very dangerous. This individual has no respect for the motoring public or the law, for that matter. And you touched upon the details initially. This was your basic stop, if you would, for a stop sign violation. And shortly after that, a violation ensued. And at the moment, it is suspected that this person might be under the influence of a controlled substance and or alcohol, or a combination of both. But from what we can see on screen, the situation is getting extremely dangerous. This person is getting more desperate as time goes on. And first and foremost, the Highway Patrol, we're responsible for the safety of the motoring public, and that's what we're going to take into account. First, the public safety, and then after officer safety, of course, this person's safety as well.
Officer, when you see speeds reaching reports from the CHP of 100 to 120 miles an hour, how does that change the way you approach this situation? I mean, do you get more aggressive? Do you back off a little bit? Obviously, he's putting a lot of people's lives in risk. We saw him almost hit a couple cars moving at a very fast rate of speed on the eastbound 118.
You're exactly right about that. The speeds are definitely up there, and the situation is fluid, and there's no black or white rule when it comes to these pursuits. We pretty much have to play them by ear and based on what we see and based on the actions of the driver. The good thing about this pursuit at the moment is that traffic is fairly light, and that is a benefit and a drawback at the same time. Speeds tend to be a little bit higher, but at the same time, the public risk could potentially be minimized because of the light traffic conditions.
We're getting information that this car that this driver is driving is registered in North Hollywood. Do you know anything more about that, Officer Gomez?
We don't have any other information other than the registration information. What we are concerned with is that this person, as you already know, the initial stop was attempted in the city of Burbank, and at the moment we are headed in that direction, and that's something that we tend to see quite a bit, and that's something that our officers have to be concerned with while they're pursuing this individual.
We talked about, you know, laying out spike strips, the fact that you guys may lay out a spike strip. At what point during a pursuit like this would you put out a spike strip?
Well, with regards to spike strips, I can't go into detail regarding the policy of when we deploy those spike strips, but I can tell you that we always keep that as an option. We do have several options with regards to pursuits. However, we're not going to use an option that's going to endanger the public safety. That's number one for us. And with these high speeds, anything can happen, and that's not something that we're prepared to use necessarily at the moment. And of course, deploying that spike strip is quite dangerous for our officers as well, and that's something that we have to consider.
Officer, we initially heard reports that there was erratic driving involved in this. Are you guys saying that this all started because this gentleman in this Mercedes ran a stop sign? Is that how this all began?
That's the information that we're receiving from Burbank Police Department, who initially attempted to make the stop, and that's all we know for the moment. Obviously, once the pursuit is terminated, we will go through the details of what actually happened and conduct our investigation accordingly.
Just trying to figure out what it is that made you guys think that he might be intoxicated running a stop sign. Was it behavior after that, I assume?
Yes. From the information we're getting is that the behavior after the initial stop, the erratic driving, the jerking movements, anything it might be that this person is just desperate and doesn't want to stop. We don't know. It is suspected, obviously, that might be the situation.
Do you know whether this person is armed?
No, we don't know. We don't know that. But when we see erratic driving like this, there's a lot of things we have to worry about. We have to worry about the legal aspect. We have to worry about our policy. And, of course, we have to make sure that, number one, public safety is taken care of.
Absolutely.
Is he armed? We don't know at the moment. We know that there's only one passenger in the vehicle, which is the driver, and that's what we know for the moment.
Okay.
Officer, stand by with us just for a minute, if you will. Let's go back up to Stu Mundell, get an update on the location of this speeding Mercedes. Southbound 170, are we in North Hollywood, Stu?
Oh, we're definitely established in the North Hollywood area, probably coming up on Valley Village already. He is slowed down again. He slowed down to almost normal speeds as he got onto the 170, playing that same trick that he was doing earlier, getting it a little bit slower. Looks like we're going to be getting off here. And he's coming to a complete stop on the freeway. I'll get you an actual...
Okay.
Let's just see what he does here.
We are. I just wanted to make sure I knew. We are at the Burbank off-ramp, and right now he just stopped right there in the slow lane, just came to a complete stop there. Again, you can see that number of officers there, and again, they are blocking traffic. There's a couple of officers a little bit farther back blocking traffic. LAPD is using their helicopter to light that vehicle for the CHP. Again, just coming to a complete stop before the off-ramp on the slow lane here at the southbound 170 at Burbank in the North Hollywood area, and you can see him. He's moving around in there. I'm not sure if he's looking. He's probably looking to see who's out there. Looks like he's on the phone. That's probably going to be one of his last phone calls he's going to be making for a while when he gets into custody. Again, the vehicle is not shut off. We did see it make a little bit of a move there. He's looking. He's on the phone. He's looking at the officers. I'm going to get a little bit of a wider shot just to see what the officers are doing, and they are doing as we suspected. Everybody's out. They do, like, again, they were talking about.
No,
There he goes.
no.
He just takes off again. He was looking at the officers. There might have been an exchange of some words there between the suspect and the officers, and again just took off. They're going to have to get back in their vehicles, but it made a large opening here on the 170 freeway southbound for him. There are no vehicles pretty much ahead of him. We just passed another LAPD or some sort of law enforcement, but now again doing that trademark, what we've been watching this guy do, slow and then extremely fast. He is moving out again, obviously about into the 100 miles an hour as we work our way down to the 101 as we're working our way along the 170 southbound. And so again,
and when he hits the 101, that's when traffic is really,
a lot more
really
traffic.
crazy. It's that time of night where the Hollywood area gets completely packed with people coming into Hollywood. So it'll be interesting to see what happens and what he does. And hopefully he'll slow down.
You really hit the nail on the head with the traffic update, because it is, as I'm looking up into the Cahuenga Pass, it is stopped traffic up there. And even right here, right past the interchange, he's just entering onto the 101 right now, and you can see the traffic already slowing, and he's going to get a lot more as he comes up into the Universal area. You can see there's a little bit of a lull right there, but I can guarantee you by the time he gets to the Cahuenga Pass, it is bumper to bumper. And again, he's got to see this coming. He's got to know this is happening. He's doing is weaving in and out of traffic, but eventually he's going to run out of places to weave to, because it is going to be stop traffic here shortly. He's choosing the faster lanes, the number 1 lane and etc. as he's trying to work his way through this traffic. Again, right there under an overpass, he's boxed in, and you can see CHP right there behind him. Again, they don't want to jump out. They don't know if this guy has a weapon. Like we heard that officer on the phone, his name escapes me, talking just moments ago. They don't want to endanger the public. They don't know who this guy is. They don't know if he has a weapon. And there he goes. He's out from underneath that overpass. Again, people around him are seeing those sirens, or hearing those sirens, and they're doing what they're supposed to do. Now he's choosing to take the emergency lane, which is a very dangerous maneuver, especially with this tight traffic. And he knows that lane is going to run out. He's just flying down that emergency lane. Whoa!
Did he hit him?
Did he get
I believe he did. Hang on. He might not have. I'm hearing that he didn't. He might not have hit that guy. He came to a complete stop there. Again, You can see him. Maybe this woke him up. He's acting a little bit more rational right now. Maybe it just scared him enough. But no, he's trying. He's trying to get around that traffic still, and he's still trying to make his move here. Again, coming along this emergency lane, I'm trying to look and see if there's any damage on that car. It seems like the car is okay. That means that person that was in front of him is okay. But it does seem that he does have a problem with his wheel. He might have hit the center divider. This car is going to not be able to go here very shortly. It looks like the driver's side wheel has collapsed on itself, possibly creating a huge alignment issue for him. So that he's going to lose that tire very shortly. After he loses that tire, this vehicle is going to have even more trouble to maneuver through that traffic. And this guy not slowing down, really pushing it now. And again, this is very dangerous for the public now. His vehicle is impaired and he's flying. He's still moving probably a good 40, 50 miles an hour along this emergency lane here, and he's trying to make his way out of the emergency lane came to an end, but you can see the smoke coming from that front wheel. So his vehicle is impaired and still trying to make these high-speed getaways. It just compounds the danger level. It compounds the danger for this guy that's being chased, and then obviously anybody around him. This car could lose control any second now. He is not slowing down. We are on the southbound 101 freeway approaching the Barham overpass. You can see that wheel is totally tweaked, totally bent out of shape, and it's stuck in a steered position. So CHP, I'm going to go a little bit wider here. I'm not sure how much longer this vehicle can operate like that.
Yeah, he's
still right there.
He's almost at the Cahuenga Pass at this point, which means he's getting into Hollywood now, or if he isn't already in Hollywood.
And the traffic's only going to get worse.
It's only going to get worse for the next about a mile or two. That area is always tight right in through there.
Definitely, and especially this time of night on a Friday evening, and again, you can see the skid mark coming out from behind that car. That front wheel is probably, if it's turning, it's not turning the right direction, and those tires are going to be wearing very quickly. He's going to lose that tire shortly, and if the car can keep up pushing with that front wheel bent like that, he still seems to be trying to get away, driving through traffic erratically, making his move here. He's gotten into the slow lane again. I know we passed Barham. I don't know what the next off-ramp is going to be. I believe it's going to be Hollywood.
Coming up on Highland,
and again, maybe Highland, excuse me, you're right, Rob. And, maybe he's going to try to take that Highland off-ramp. You can see the smoke coming out of that front wheel now. A lot more smoke. That tire getting hot. And again, it looks like he's just pushing his way through the traffic, and it looks like he's going to be taking the Highland off-ramp here. We have a little bit of clouds. That's what you're seeing right there as we're coming through the pass here. His speed's slowed, obviously, because of his vehicle and of all this traffic. CHP still behind him. And again, if this is as that officer said, and I'm sure he has, reported his information accurately, that this is all over a traffic stop or a stop sign. You got to wonder, what is this guy running for, and what a waste. Exactly.
And that wheel, you're right, is locked, taken to the right. Is he getting off on Highland, or is that Vine?
He is getting off. I believe this is Highland, and we know it's another one of those big sweeping turns with an overpass. Highland is going to be backed up as well. I can't see out the windshield right now as clearly as I'd like to, but we're coming up on the Highland area right now. You can see there's one car in front of him. He's riding his brakes. He's probably seeing all these cops going, what the heck's going on? And there's those sparks. So that tire is gone now. Now that tire is gone, and he's running on the rim. And this is just going to get worse and worse and worse. This guy, he's got no place to go. And he should just give up right now for public safety. This car is just he is riding this thing to the end. It looks like that front wheel is going to start sparking. There's going to start getting other problems. Obviously, he's also going to lose some of his braking abilities and obviously the maneuverability. And he's coming up into traffic here. We're on Highland, coming up on the Highland Hollywood Bowl area. It looks like he's trying to stop. Trying to stop. There's probably some traffic ahead of him. We got some.
There's a parking lot right near the Hollywood Bowl area. Near Ogden, I believe, and I'm hoping.
Look how fast he's going.
This is going to end very poorly with these high speeds.
Is he on the opposite side of the road?
He is in the center divider right now, and again, that wheel is gone. That wheel is gone. He's coming up onto, and it looks like we're taking Franklin. We're definitely taking Franklin. Looks like we're going to be going eastbound on Franklin in the Hollywood area. Unbelievable luck for the public and this guy. These are very tight streets. We're going to try to move around these buildings. Hopefully this won't come to an end. And you can see one of the LAPD helicopters going by there. There's the suspect right there. You can see that smoke coming out of that car. And again, a packed street out here. And going into oncoming traffic, behind this building. And he's still making his way on the wrong side of the road. And he's got to get back over here. There he is. And you know, it's just amazing that he can keep this up. Yeah. But there we go.
Opposite side of the road again.
I'm just amazed he can handle this car so well with that left wheel bent left without a tire on it. And look at how well he's handling the car. It's incredible.
And he picked up speed again.
This is one of those pursuits, you know, we don't want to let it go. We can't let it go, but I just have to put out the word right. Whoa!
Oh my God!
The car totally sideswiped the vehicle here on Franklin. We're coming up on Sunset. Now his car is definitely not moving. It looks like it's coming to an end here under the 101 freeway. The most. And you know, I'm going to go a little bit wide here. I want to see that other vehicle, make sure that those people are okay. We got a CHP officer with them. We're going to try to move around a little bit, see if we can get you a better shot, see what's going on underneath the freeway there. But again, we saw that crash. You know, it was in a little bit of a spot, but you know, you can see that you can make the back of that car out right there. Maybe we can get a little bit lower. I'm trying to communicate with my pilot. Maybe we can get just a little bit lower so we can see what's going on under there.
See the corner end of that car.
I see the back end. If I see that motorcycle officer's got his gun drawn.
Yeah, these officers, obviously this guy, no concern for the public. And again, you know, now he did sideswipe that car on the driver's side. He might have a little bit difficulty getting out on that driver's side. Maybe he'll come out on the passenger side. That'd be a benefit for us. But right now, he's in that vehicle. We haven't heard anything about him complying as of yet.
You know, when he sideswiped that car, it looked like a big, huge piece fell off of his car. So maybe he is incapacitated and he can't go anywhere.
Yes, and now the officers, they're talking about it. We're hearing them talk that this is this is what's called a felony stop. Obviously, this guy is a felon now, convicted or not. With those moves and actions that he made, they're going to treat him with utmost caution, and so they're giving the calls to him. They're telling him to get out. He's been stubborn the entire time. I don't foresee him just giving up. It looks like they're going to have to take him out of that car by force. Obviously, the longer they wait, they're going to have the opportunity to bring in less than lethal force to this scene. You know, the beanbags, tasers, other things like that, possibly even a dog. We've seen them shoot out windows and send dogs in there.
Whoa, there's that accident.
Spectacular sideswipe. Unfortunately, very sad for that person that he hit, but it was a crazy end there as he was, you know, using highway speeds on surface streets with an impaired vehicle on Franklin in the Hollywood area.
Yeah, and now we just kind of sit and wait, and we just hope that he doesn't do what he did last time, which is try to take off again, because it appears the car can still move, although I can't imagine at what capacity it can move. The left side has got to be severely damaged at this point, if there's even a rim left on the front left of the car.
Oh, of course, Rob, and you know that he had that damage before, and then now he's definitely he's got that, he's been sideswiped. I'm sure.
It looks like the CHP have just pulled out their big guns, and these are probably beanbag guns. But there's a spike strip.
Those are actually spikes. Those are actually spikes, just in case he makes that effort to keep on going. These officers, they have their guns drawn on this guy. You know, they don't have any. They're going to open the door up and probably tell him to get out. Possibly he's incapacitated. Maybe that jolt maybe knocked him out or knocked him unconscious.
He's moving, though. I see him moving.
There he is.
Into custody.
Okay.
And there he goes. He's finally out of the vehicle, and CHP taking him into custody.
Right on top of the spike strips.
Right on this, and he's alone in the car. We can tell that now. He's out of the passenger side.
Thank goodness they got him.
And he's on the ground. He appears to be awake, alert. He obviously wasn't knocked out by the accident.
But he refused to get out of the car.
He didn't want to get out of the car. They pulled him out of the car.
Yeah, resistant.
Now they take him in. That's it.
Well, thank goodness they have him into custody, and they're handcuffing him right now, and now they're escorting him to the police vehicle.
There's our first look at him.
Wow, what a crazy pursuit. We've seen some pursuits. This is one of the crazier ones, Stu.
No, this was one for the books for sure. That suspect is going to be going into custody here in a second. My concerns now, obviously, with that other person that was sideswiped earlier. I wanted to just check and see. There's the car that was hit. We know that an ambulance has been called. We're going to wait and see. We're also going to listen up. Maybe City Fire can give us some information on these people. You can see there's a child in that car. There's somebody holding them. So, obviously extremely scary moments for these innocent victims that were a victim of this guy's idiocy this evening here. And this again on Franklin, right near Sunset. That suspect now in custody. Good job from the CHP and also all the other units involved. This was Burbank PD and LAPD also were involved in this chase. But that suspect now going into custody.
A lot of units on this, a lot of different departments. Suspect in custody, and we're going to obviously have a crew on the way to the scene to get an update on the condition of the person that was hit. And right now we're going to go to Officer Saul Gomez of the CHP with any new information that we've had here in the last few minutes. Saul.
Well, obviously, we saw the crash and we saw it live here, and that's definitely something that we hate to see.
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate ending, and it would have been great if this guy would have just stopped and given up. Unfortunately, he didn't. He did collide into those vehicles. So right now, our concern is those parties involved, making sure they're okay, and of course, the suspect is in custody now, which is also another thing that we have to worry about.
Yeah, Officer Gomez, have you heard or received any word on the conditions of those people who were driving the other cars?
At the moment they're being assessed, and I don't have any information. However, we are going to render aid to them, and that is our main concern at the moment. The suspect is not going anywhere. He's going to be with us or with Burbank for quite a while, and you can rest assured that we're going to make sure we take care of the proper investigation so that this gentleman or this suspect rather can pay for what he did tonight.
Exactly. Franklin Avenue is a very popular road street for people going into Hollywood. It's a Friday night. Do you have any advice for people out there who are thinking of coming this way?
It's obviously going to be shut down for quite a while. That is for sure. The investigation is going to go on for a few hours. So if you are considering traveling through this area of Hollywood, traffic is going to be quite backed up and pretty much all directions surrounding this incident here.
And officer, can you give us an idea of what kind of charges this man is going to be facing now after about an hour-long, quite a wild pursuit that he led police on?
Well, he is going to be facing several felony counts right off the bat. I'm not too familiar as of yet with every single count, but of course he was involved in a pursuit. That itself is a felony. He did collide into someone, and these folks can potentially be injured, although the information we don't have yet. But those are felonies as well. The situation with the vehicle, we don't know what's going on with the vehicle yet, although the vehicle registration was initially clear. That can change and often does. Whether the suspect was under the influence, that's also something that we have to worry about. Whether there's any warrants or any paraphernalia, any drugs on the person, that's also something that we have to worry about. But rest assured that our officers, along with the Burbank Police Department, will do a fine job of investigating this incident and to make sure that all the charges are brought forward.
All right, Officer Saul Gomez, thank you so much for joining us. And on the right side of your screen, you see the pursuit that was happening earlier tonight. This ended in the Franklin Avenue area in Hollywood, and the suspect was just driving out of control on many of the Southland freeways, particularly in the Valley and the Hollywood area. And the ending here is, thank goodness, relatively safe one. We're not sure how the people in the other cars that he sideswiped are doing.
It did look like it did appear when we took a shot from the car that was hit at the end of this pursuit, it did look like that everyone that was in the car was out of the car. So hopefully that's good news. An ambulance has still not arrived. It did appear to be a glancing blow. It wasn't a dead-on blow. As you could tell, his car, the suspect's car, kept on moving. And there is the first fire truck to arrive on the scene. Hopefully there'll be a paramedic soon behind, and we'll be able to get an update, an ambulance, and see what the condition is of the person in that other black car that was hit by the pursuit suspect. Hopefully they're okay, and we don't know how many people were in that car, but there it is right there. There's no lights on it, but it did seem a second ago that everyone was out of the car. The car was empty, and there's not a lot of attention on the car, so that seems to make sense.
And it looked like one of the adults in that car that was sideswiped right there, I believe, has a child in his or her arms. Not sure if they were in that car at the time. It's hard to say, and it's also pretty dark out there, so it's hard to see exactly who is who. But if you're thinking of coming into Hollywood, please avoid this area. This is the Franklin Avenue area near the Highland Avenue off-ramp of the 101. CHP officers on the scene, many other agencies on the scene as well. The culmination of a pursuit that started, or we picked it up around 8 o'clock, 8:15 tonight, went along all the freeways of the Valley and now into Hollywood. This driver driving at erratic speeds of up to perhaps what they're saying is 120 miles per hour, trying to get away from police.
And right now, as we just keep a live picture up here, that is the 101 right above where this all came to an end on East Franklin Avenue there, east of Highland. And you can see a number of police officers. That's the 101 right there. And a number of officers, and this is where it actually came to an end. So this is the end of about an hour-long high-speed pursuit that went through the Valley on the 5, on the 118, back down to the 170, and ending in Hollywood with a suspect in custody after an accident right there on Franklin.